Hello. I'm going to show you today, I'm going to work on a tray here. This is a silver tray, a vintage, just a vintage silver plate tray. And it's still got the price on it, what I paid on the back of it, which was $6.99. Take that off. Sometimes I paint the back of the tray and sometimes I don't. If it's in good shape, usually, and not rusted, I usually don't paint the back, okay? But it is cleaned, okay? Now the front side I have painted white, and I've spray painted it with just enough white to coat it with. You know, I just wanted to seal the paint in there. So I'm going to quickly put one more coat. No, I don't believe I will. I was going to put another coat of white on it, but what I'm going to use here, I don't think I need to. So I'm going to use this. I have done this print on mulberry paper. I have taken it, printed it on the printer and done it on mulberry paper. Okay, so I'm going to lay, you can find mulberry paper. This one fits through my printer, and it is a standard size sheet, but you have to attach it. You usually have to attach the mulberry paper. It's real thin, so you have to attach it to another sheet of paper. I just take this and put a little bit of spray adhesive on it and put it on my paper, and then I can run it through the printer at the same time. This is a beautiful print, and I think I got it on Etsy somewhere. I really don't know exactly where it came from. It's just one that was in my stash that I printed out, okay? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this print and I'm going to water cut around it. I've got my glue up here, which is Mod Podge. I use Mod Podge for glue that I have thinned down a little bit. But I'm going to take some water and I'm going to cut around this print. I don't want my edges to be harsh and straight, so I'm just going to go around my print, take some water on that, and I'm going to tear that out, okay? Going to tear this right out of my design. Tear my design right out. Okay, I'm going to go across the bottom too, because I don't want it to be straight line across the bottom. Okay, no straight lines. Straight lines are harder to get rid of, so you usually just go ahead and take them off to where you got a jagged edge, and it'll be a whole lot easier to get rid of the lines between your paper and your background. We'll put some shading and some stuff on this after we get it on the tray, which will help it to just kind of fade into the tray. But for now, I'm just taking it out of the paper. Okay. Sometimes you will find that there is a real strong piece of stuff running through this paper, and I see one right there, so I'm going to clip it out. I don't want that. Those are hard to hide. It's the texture. I'm not sure what you call them, the texture in the paper, but I'm going to clip that one right there on to get that out of there. I really would like to take, I think I'm going to take a little bit of water and go down below it just a little bit and try to get that out of there. Because that's hard to work with, those little, it's a little stiff piece, and it's just, what it is the threads running through your paper. Okay, now I've got it down to just the print, so I'm ready now to put it on my tray. Okay, I'm going to position it in here to where I think I want it to be, and I'm going to take just a little bit off this corner here, because I don't want it to go up on this, where it's sloped here. I don't want it to go up on there. Okay, now I've got it in place, so what I'm going to do, and I'm going to take my glue, which I said is Mod Podge with a little bit of water in it. Find me a brush here. Need a decent brush, but okay, I'll just go ahead and use this one. Now I'm going to fold it up on one side. Instead of trying to put it all down at one time, I like to work with it a little bit at a time. So I'm going to fold it down to the middle. Put me a little bit of glue on there. Okay. Then I'm just going to take my hand, lay that down, and start from my middle. And I've got a little piece of saran wrap here. I'm going to very lightly drop that from the middle over to the right hand side. Very easily. Okay. Then I'm going to reverse my tray. I am right-handed. And I see right there that I want another little piece of that taken off. So before it dries on there, I'm going to kind of rip that a little bit and tear that into that corner there. Okay, now I'm over here onto the other side. Okay. Back to getting my other side down. Instead of just laying it down, I'm working it out a little bit at a time. You won't have any wrinkles that way. This is a real strong color in this print, and that's what I like. I love this blue shade. I'm going to trim out the sides of the tray with that blue. Okay. Now I'm going to start from my middle and work my way out with a little bit of glue. Again, I'm going to clip that little spot there. Got a little more showing on that corner than I really want. I'm going to come from my middle out and put a top coat of my glue on top of the print. Work it right out to the edges. Got another little piece there that I want to take off. I don't want none of that coming up into my wall there. Now this paper's thin, so you want to be careful with your glue because you can rip it. Okay. Soft touch going over through there, and it just glues that right down to puts it right down to my tray. Working my way all the way around. Snip that little edge off right there. Keep working with that, I'll get it off there. I went back to it 3 or 4 times. Now I believe I got it. My background is white, and the background on my paper is white, so this kind of just fades into your background, which is what you want. Makes it a lot harder to see your edges. You don't see those edges of the paper. That's why I like mulberry paper. It's a fibrous paper. I use it to cover a lot of glass, but I also like it to work, you know, it just kind of, it fades into your background real easy, and you don't have to work real hard to get rid of the, you know, the lines and stuff. Okay, I think I've got it down there. Now, in the interest of time, I'm going to dry that a little bit because I want it to get dry and we can move on. So you'll just have to excuse my dryer, okay? I'm going to take my dryer and dry this just a little. Okay. Now I feel like my lemons and my blueberries have a pretty good strong color, but I don't feel that way about the flowers. So what I'm going to do is work on my flowers a little bit. I'm going to take a brush. I've got some gray over here. My flowers are white, so I'm going to shade and highlight them a little bit so that it pulls them. When you shade, it sets something back, and when you highlight, it pulls it forward. So you want a good flat brush that you can work with. And I've got a little bit of glazing medium. I've got a Josania's clear glazing medium here. This just helps to move my paint a little bit. So I'm going to put a little bit of that out on my palette. And over here I've got a little bit of a gray. Just any kind of gray will do. I don't want it to be very dark gray, so I'm going to add a little bit of white over here to my gray. I don't know if you can see my palette or not. I'm going to lighten this gray up just a little bit, because I will be using the gray and the white, but I don't want that to be that strong. And I've got a little bit of blue already out there that I used earlier. So I'm going to leave it if I need a little touch of blue in those flowers. I've got a little bit of like a royal blue mixed up there. That's what I'm going to put on the edges of my tray. So I'm going to work with that. So what I do is just take a little bit of my painting medium. I've got a small brush here to work with. You want a brush that fits in the design, fits good into the design where you're working on. So I may need to go down to a smaller one. I'm going to go in and pick up a little bit of my medium on my brush. Then I'm going to touch in just a little bit of the gray on the left-hand side of my brush and blend it on my palette. And I'm going to go right down in here, and where I want to shade, which is I want to set something back, I'm going to pull a little bit of that gray down in there. See? A little bit of medium, a little bit of paint, blend it on my palette, and then just go right in here and work on these flowers a little bit. I can separate all of my petals and make them stronger by using this little bit of gray here. Anywhere I want to set it back a little bit, I will add some of the darker mix, and then I'm going to go back in with some white and highlight some of them. So just in a few places. I'm not going to do every flower. I just want to put some variation of color in there so that it just kind of separates everything. So on one side of my flower petal, I'm setting a little bit of gray if I want that part of the petal to be under the other petal, if you understand what I'm saying. This shades, so it's going to set that petal that I put it on, it sets it back a level. Okay. So I'm just choosing flowers here and there and putting some of this on it. Okay. A little bit of shading there. See how I've put the little bits of gray through those flowers? That's what I'm doing all around. A little highlight, a little medium, a little gray on my brush, and then just kind of pull it in there to separate the petals. Anywhere I want to make the petals a little stronger, that's where I'm putting a little bit of the gray. I'm just kind of going all over the flowers. I'll go back in a few minutes with some of the white and maybe a touch of the blue. Okay, if I pick up some blue, I put some medium on my brush, a little bit of gray, then go up here and touch that blue just a little bit and kind of mix it in with that gray and make me a real blue-gray color. See? Then I can just pull that into some of them too. This is shading, just called shading and highlighting, just part of painting. I've painted for many, many years, and this is just a way of mixing your colors and getting them in there. Okay, I'm going to put some right around the middle, where the middle of the flower is, or in some of the flowers. Now again, I'm not doing each individual flowers, I'm just hitting some of them. Because see how it makes the blue, pulls out some dimension? It pulls that out, pulls those flowers and separates them a little bit. Go right here, put a little bit here. Anywhere I want to separate the flowers is where I'm putting a little bit of the shading. And I've used gray and I've used blue. Okay. And you want to go just the shape the petal is. The shape of the petal's already in there. So you don't have to worry that you're painting a whole flower. You're just shading on the petals. Picked up a little bit of my gray, a little bit of my blue, and kind of mix them together. That's just like a stick pin full. You know, just a little bit like you would see on the tip of a stick pin is all the paint you need. Okay. Now if you can see how stronger that's made how much stronger that's made my flowers. You can see the blue in there, and you can see the gray. So I just go in and I'm just, like I said, just add them wherever you feel like you need a separation. Okay. Now I'm going to clean my brush, and I'm going to do this with a little bit of white. Clean my brush, water and clean it. Get the water out of it. I'm going to go back and take my same brush, right corner is painting medium. Left side of my brush is white. Now I'm going to come right back in here and I'm going to pull some white down on some of these petals. Just the opposite of the blue. See, I just done this one right here. I put the white here and the blue was on the other side. I put some white on that one. See here, I'm going to put some white right here. Take my brush, pull that right on the end of that petal and pull it down just like my petal is. Right here, pull it down. I hope you can see what I'm doing. You can take a paper of whatever you want to decoupage on there, and then you can go right back in there and paint over the whole thing and redo it to suit you. And it's just like having a pattern on there to follow. You've got a pattern on there because you've already got the flowers on there. So you don't have to worry about painting flowers. You're just shading and highlighting. And I could work on this for hours. I could just keep going here and paint every one of these petals again and every flower and do as much as you want on it. But see how much stronger that makes my actual flowers on there? See, the berries are already got good color in the berries. They've already got good color in them. So I'm not going to bother with them. See how that white is on top of that berry? It highlights really, really well. Now these little flowers right down here, I can do the same with those. Anywhere I want to pull one out, I can put a little bit of white on it. If I want to bring it forward, put a little white on there. If you want to take it back, put a little of the blue on there. See? I think I've about got it. Okay. Now the leaves are not really a focal point, so I'm not going to mess with the leaves. I'm not going to fool with them. The leaves are not really, the lemons have real good color on them, and this is shaded. Everything you do has to have shading underneath it. So, and this vase here has real good shading on it, so I'm not going to mess with that. I'm going to leave it because I think that's real pretty like it is. But I am going to take some of my gray, and I'm going to go down here to the bottom, and I may have to darken this to get it to show up good, but I'm going to go right along the bottom of my picture, and I'm going to go across. When you're putting shading in, you're always going across the page. It's like there's a table there, that piece is sitting on a table, and what I'm doing is strengthening so that that shading underneath that vase is a lot heavier. A little bit of painting medium on my brush, a little bit of the gray, blend it on my palette, and come in here, and then I'm just going to pull it across. And I'm going to make that heavier shading right down there. It's dark right up near the vase, which is a good thing. So I don't have to get up real close to it. There's a good shade under there already. That print already had good shading. But I want to bring it out a little bit more to look like there is a bottom, like this is a table. This is sitting on a table or sitting, you know, you gotta have something under. Everything you paint's gotta have something under it to anchor it down. Okay? You can't just leave it sit there on the thing, on the tray without some shading under it, because it'll fall off your tray. See there how I strengthened that? Just strengthened that right along the bottom. Okay? That looks really good. Now I'm going to go up in here with a little bit of my sponge brush, I think, and I'm going to pick up a little bit of colors. Let me get me a sponge brush over here. I need a little tiny one that I don't see. Okay. I'm going to pat me a little bit of color in here, right around this little bit. Not very much, and we'll see what I get here when I put a little color in this. Might try it. I'm going to try it, and if I don't like it, then I'll just take it, I'll stop. Okay? And I don't think I need that, so I'm not going to do it. No, I don't think I need that. That's really pretty. I'll probably resin this one. After I get it done, I'll probably put resin on it. So we're going to take the toothbrush and put some color in it. But for now, I'm going to paint this edge around here. And like I said, I'm going to do it in a metallic. It kind of matches this blue. I did one earlier today. This one I've been working on a little earlier. And this is the same blue that I'm going to achieve. I did this tray earlier. And I'm going to put this same blue around the edge of this tray. Okay? So what I've done, I've got some blue metallic here. And this is called Blue Sapphire. And it's a folk art metallic paint. And I'm going to put some of it. I'm partial to dark colors. My thing is the dark shades. So I use a lot of the dark colors for shading. For trims and stuff. So I've got the blue metallic out there. Metallics don't show by themselves. You got to put something underneath it to coat it, or you got to put something with it. And I prefer to put it in my metallics. So I've taken this blue metallic here. Let me get this moved out of my way. Maybe you can see what I'm doing. Well, I stuck that to my paper. Okay. I'm going to take my palette knife, and I've got this blue metallic here, and I'm going to put some black in it. And I'm going to do that, just mix it until I get a color that I like. It's metallic blue and flat black paint. That's just an Americana's lamp black, I believe it is, or ebony. And I'm going to mix that. And it'll be about the color of this picture that's in the picture. Picture in picture. That's hard to say. Okay, I believe I about got it. Now it'll take 2 coats of this, maybe even 3. You get that out, get it cleaned up, and then I'm ready to paint that on there. Now I'm going to take a good flat brush, good brush with a good edge, because I'm going to go right along these edges first. So I'm going to come in here and just take my brush, let the edge of my brush make the edge of my tray. Come all the way around my tray. Okay. Bringing it all the way around. My base coat is, I spray with Rust-Oleum's 2-in-1. I use spray paint. I like to use that as a start coat. It's a 2-in-1, means it's primer and paint all in one application. And I use Krylon. I think, no, it's Rust-Oleum, not Krylon, which you can get at Home Depot or Lowe's or whatever home goods store you have. Okay. You take any print. You don't have to use the same print that I've got. Just shows you an idea. Like I said, this print came from somewhere on Etsy, but I buy so many and use so many, and I design a lot of my own, so I don't never remember where I got them from. But there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands on there, so you can always find something you can use. But you could use any. Whatever the color is inside this, you want to pull some of that color to the outside out here. Choose a color that's down in here in your design that you do your trim with. Is what I like to do. You always paint to suit yourself. Whatever you like is what you do. You learn a little from this person and a little from that person, and you kind of incorporate it into your own design. And then first thing you know, you have your own style and your own designs. I love to paint trays. Lately I've been doing Easter stuff, but I love doing trays. I should have told you up front. My name is Judy Mullins. I live in Tennessee in the Gatlinburg Pigeon Forge area, and my business name is Vintage to Chic. If you're on YouTube, I hope you'll subscribe and follow us or watch more of our videos. Or you can visit me on Facebook, and I have an Etsy shop. My Etsy shop's all Vintage to Chic is the name on Etsy, where I sell my finished products. And I also do auctions usually about once a month I do auctions on Facebook. And my business name on Facebook is also Vintage to Chic. Get that all the way around your edge. I like this color. If you have a good brush with a good edge on it, a good flat brush, you can come right around those edges and get that paint in there without any problem. You should never go down this way and try to put a line in there. Always take it across, work your way across, and it'll be a whole lot easier for you. Just about to get around, but we'll have to put another coat on it. When I do videos for YouTube, girls, I don't edit them. I'm not good at that. So I just make them the way I make them, and hope for the best. So I'm working with you just like I would be if I was working on my private group or on Facebook. I like that blue really well. See there, my paper got a little bit up on that edge, and I really didn't want to do that. So I have to work a little bit harder to cover it up. You can get mulberry paper. This mulberry paper come from Amazon because it's already cut to fit your printer and it's real thin. I'll put a link in my description here where you can buy the mulberry paper. Okay, now see how pretty that is? And I'm going to go back and dry it just a little bit so I can go right on painting around it. A lot of times, if your tray's big enough, from time you start till the time you get back around there, it'll be dry enough to where you can just continue right on around and put it on again. I will put some waxes up on the edge up here, so I'll probably use some gold wax, some rub and buff, or some waxes up here to decorate this blue just a little bit. We might even put some bling on it. Put some beading on it. I will resin this piece. I usually wait till I've got a number of pieces and then I get them all out and resin them all at the same time with just a clear resin on them. Yeah, that's pretty. When you get the second coat on, you can really tell the difference and it gets smooth for you. I got just a smidge of paint there where I don't want it. So I'm going to take me a wet brush real quick before that dries. If you grab a wet brush, some water, and get right on it, you can get it right off. I'm careful when I'm down to the edge there. Then as I go up, I can just paint it on there. A little over halfway around. Almost got it. Good thing about YouTube, you can fast forward to go through wherever you want. Okay, now I'm going to go back. I need to reinforce the little yellow seeds that's in the middle of these flowers. I'm going to do that, and I'm going to pull some stamen, some little flower stamen, the little black lines that's in the middle of flowers where they come up out of the flowers. I think that's what they're called, a stamen. I'm going to use a stylist, which is the point here, with the, let's see if this one, or I need a sharper one. Got two here. I'm going to use this one. It's a lot sharper on the end. And I'm going to get me some kind of a gold color, maybe a yellow. And, okay, let's see here. I'm going to put a couple different colors in them. These are going to go right in the middle of those flowers. This is called antique gold. This is a real old color, which is Delta, but you can see it's kind of a mustard color. We'll put out just a little touch of that. And I've got some white there on my palette already. Some white already out, so. And let's see, I've got some black. I'm gonna put a little black in there because I need a few of the black ones in. So I'm gonna get me a little touch of black. You might know it's plugged up. That's the bad thing when you're painting. The paint's They don't dry up on my palette because I'm using a wet palette, but they dry up in your bottle. The top of your bottle dries out. Okay. Now I'm going to go back in, and in the middle of these little daisies, or little flowers, I'm going to put a few of these little yellow. Like I said, this is just a dot tool. This is a stylist. And we'll go in here and just dot right in the middle of those, some of the yellow ones. This is kind of a gold colored. Putting 2 or 3 in each little flower. And then in the same little flowers, I'm going to put a few of the black ones. Oh, a couple of little black ones in there. And I'm going to put a white one or two. Just putting a few little black ones. Then I'm going to pick up a little bit of white and put a little white in there. So I'm using like 3 colors in the center of those little flowers. Just back and forth with the colors. If one gets too dark on you, just wait a few minutes till it's dry and go back in with another color and tap right back over it again. Might even pick up 2 colors at the same time. If I pick up the white and touch it in the gold at the same time, I'm killing 2 birds with 1 stone and getting the colors in there quicker. A little white, a little gold, and tap it a little bit. A little too strong on the white. A little black. I'm going between the black and the gold and the white. And adding some little centers into my flowers. Just strengthens them a little bit. Like I said, if you get them too strong, just go back in after they dry and tap them again. I believe I got them in there. I think I got them all in. Put just about in all of them. Okay. Now, see how those just kind of sets off? Just kind of sets off my flowers like it did. Okay. Now, I'm going to go back in, and I'm going to take my toothbrush. I'm going to use a toothbrush here. And I'm going to take some of that blue that I have, and I'm going to flip some on there with my toothbrush. So I'm going to put a little touch of water in some of this blue over here, just a little bit, and pull it out to the edge so I get a little bit of paint on my brush that's just about like ink. And I'm only going to go, I'm only going to go a little bit here, and a little bit in my blue. Tap it a little bit with my toothbrush, and it's right on the end of my toothbrush, and then I'm just going to flip it this way. I like to do that. That just kind of puts everything together, gives you a little bit of color in there, and I always say it hides a multitude of sins. If you've got a place where your paper, you don't want your paper to show, or you know, anything you want to cover up like that, then just put that in there. A lot of people do it with their fingers. I like to use toothbrush. That's what I've always been used to, so that's just the way I like to put it in. Okay. I'm on the end of my toothbrush, and I'm pulling the palette knife toward me, pulling it back toward me. And it just flips that right off there. I'm not going to go down in my vase. If I'd done that, I'd go down with a different color. you know, put something light in there, but I don't need that. That's got, is good and strong. I'm really just going around the edges of the tray. Okay, I think I've got it. Clean that off a little bit now. Now, see how pretty that is? And I'm going to now take a little bit of rub and buff. I want to use gold rub and buff. Get it out over here. I'm going to put just a little bit on my palette here. Just smear a little bit of gold down my palette. This is just rub and buff from Hobby Lobby, antique gold. And I'm going to use a little piece of a rag. I like to do it with a rag instead of my fingers. And I'm going to do this outside edge here with the gold. So I'm just going to put some on my thing and go right along this edge here. And put some gold on that edge. You can do as much or as little as you like. I want it to show a little, so I've got it kind of heavy on that top up there. There's a little ledge on that tray, and I'm kind of going around that ledge. You could use more than one color up here. You could put a number of colors on it. You could put some colors down in here. It's just up to you to play with the waxes and the colors and put whatever you like on it. Okay. I'll varnish this one first, and then I will resin it, okay? And sometimes I spray varnish, and sometimes I brush on. If I brush on, I use Josania's gloss varnish. If I brush on, I use glitter on it, and the glitter will show underneath your resin, so that's probably what I'll do. I like that. I will brush on the varnish, and then in my last coat of varnish, usually I put at least 3. So in the last one, I will add the glitter to my varnish. I'm going to get out some beads down here. I've got some blue beads, and I've got some black ones. Let's see if these blue ones, they might be too blue. See what this looks like if we put these. This is bling, comes from I got this from Amazon, and you get all different colors in one package. I'll put a link in there to the Amazon. You get about 7 or 8 rolls, and it all comes in different colors. So that these I love. So, and I think that blue one, I'm either going to use the blue. I could use that gold. Let's see here what this looks like. Okay. See what this one looks like. Now that's got a little bit too much pink in it, I believe. Okay, it's either the blue or the black. I might ought to go with the gold. Let's see. Let me get the gold and see what it looks like. It is really gold. So let's see. I've got pink and red and all different colors. This gold one here, since I put gold up on the top. Okay, I've got gold up on that top edge. I think I'll go with the gold. Okay, so I'm going to use 7,000. I'm going to use my 7,000 glue, B7000. I'm going to use this, the B7000 glue, and I'm just going to put my bling all the way around that outside edge. This glue is fantastic, and it'll hold your beads in place immediately, but you have time to work with them. So I'm going to go quite a distance here around my tray, around my edges, so I can get quite a bit in there. I can go way down, just a little thin bead of glue down through there. Go all the way to that end, okay? Then I'll just lay my beads in here. They will attach immediately. These are fantastic. Be sure you get them flat. Get them flat, push them right down in the glue. Ooh, that looks good. See, that just sets it off. And you can resin right over top of these. Put your resin in, your beads will go right down in your resin. Okay, so I'm working my way right around till I get to the end of where I got the glue on there. Just take your finger and push it right over into the glue so you get it right up on the edge of the piece. Okay. Now I'm down to my end. I gotta glue it again. I don't want to get my glue stopped up. You can't leave the top off this glue very long because it does dry out real quick. So I'm going to stick that wire right back in there. Okay. Doesn't take but a small amount of glue to hold those in there. They will dry and be just perfect. Okay, I'm back to putting a little more on there. That gold just kind of sets it off. Okay, just about to get it. Sometimes you get sticky on your hands, and then when you go to push your beads down, it sticks to your hands, so you got to be careful with that. Get my fingers in the glue. If you glitter this real heavy too, you will see the glitter in your thing. You can't put what is the glass that's cut? I can't remember the other. Can't remember the name of it. We'll chalk that up to old age. I've been in the craft business for well over 50 years, so that'll tell you about how old I am on them. It's always been a fantastic job to work at something you love and be able to call it a job. almost got it. One more little section here, and we'll have it made. Now I'm going to have to clip my beads. Right there to where I got to clip that off. I've run a lot of scissors cutting beads and wire with them. So, okay, I got it. I see you do have time to go back and check it a little bit and make sure all of them's pushed into place. Got it around there good, but that is really, really pretty. Okay. And there we go. See how pretty we are? And when I get it all shined out and the resin and stuff on it, I will varnish it first, like I said, and put some glitter in my varnish. And then I will put resin on it. I hope you've enjoyed this one, and I hope you'll become a subscriber and follow along with us. Or if you have any questions, shoot me a message, and I'll be happy to answer them for you. I'll catch you later. I hope you have a good day.